Hi, Piro. I wanted to talk about Aptos this morning. It took me a few days. But one of the reasons why I love crypto is because it offers the person, the participant who would normally always be regulated out of participating, the opportunity to participate. And Aptos isn't really giving anyone that option. So if you're unfamiliar with traditional venture capital, what you might not know is that a lot of the time these companies get run up in a private equity rounds. You can take things like Uber, Instagram, Facebook, Netflix, countless companies that have done extraordinarily well, and the only time you, wherever, that's right, you, the average person, me as well, I'm an average person, I'll call myself average for this, we were not allowed to participate in those rounds for a number of reasons, usually because you weren't in the right friend circle. In something like Coinbase is when it goes public at the initial public offering. What's been so unique and so awesome about the crypto sector is that there are generally these fair launches. Bitcoin was mined and had to be produced by people who were willing to put in the energy from the early days. Even Ethereum, the majority of it went out to early participants. Now that Aptos has raised some huge amount of money, supposedly with 100,000 transactions per second, it hits the public market at like $9 a token. Okay, so you can see Aptos price is currently at $9.66. See that there's actually 1 billion tokens. So for something that just launched to have a $9 billion valuation seems a little ridiculous, doesn't it? Out the gate, this was built by some of the people who were working on Facebook's DM or Libra, and the first rounds included Andreessen Horowitz, Multicoin Capital, Circle Ventures. I'm sure you guys are all big fans of Circle. They raised $350 million at a multi-billion-dollar valuation for a product that hasn't even hit the streets yet. Now, one of the important things to remember here is that one of the reasons why we like Bitcoin and Ethereum is because they were allowed early venture participation for random normal people like us. The difficult part here is that United States regulation says, wait a second, you're raising all of this money for a token that basically looks identical to a security, and then even though 51% of it is supposedly there for community members, it's already at $9. Where's the room for upside in this? What do they think it's worth $90 billion? It's coming a lot lower. See, now this is actually ridiculous. I love when people say something, but they totally don't necessarily mean it. So here you can see Aptos says, look, we think that the community is so important that we have designed Tokenomics to engage with the community, fairness at its center. That's a crock of it. There were no people that were offered into this early potential program, even if this isn't right, even if it's $1, that's still 10x at a $9 billion valuation already. There's hardly any room for you to participate. The other thing that was ridiculous here is that a lot of the technology, when it hit the test net, it wasn't going anywhere near as fast as they had offered. The other dangerous thing here too is this looks identical to a security because the tokenization was used for funding of the company. Well, what about equity? Did you get into that? Did I? No, none of us were. Now, this is the downside again, is that if we regulate everyday people out of participation, what's the point? The upside really comes into if they can participate early. It's one of the unique mechanisms that could take place here. The problem is you have like Sam right now who are like, oh, we need to regulate this even. No, the problem here is that it's too regulated. Is the fact that there are no opportunities for micro stock in Netflix. What if Netflix could have raised money from average people like you and me instead of just generating revenue by offering us, saying, hey, for an extra $12 a month, you get early options in Netflix. That would be amazing, and lots of people would probably do it. But these emission cycles aren't fair. They're not designed for people like you and me. They're designed for the venture capital world to largely take profits off of us. Now, Solana is a really unique example too, because a lot of people get down on Solana, it's like, oh, it's mostly venture capitalists. Yeah, that might have been true, but if you go and look at the Solana market cap, it was sitting at like $5 million for almost a year. Same with Matic. Even though Matic had lots of early stage venture capitalists, I actually participated in the early IU of that. We saw like a nice 4x, and then it declined by 80 to 90% for 2 years. It sat at like a $10 million market cap and then went to $1 billion. This is where, had you invested $1,000, you walk away with an extra $150,000. And this is the real downside of the nature of this, is now you're creating projects that the average person cannot still participate in while shoveling all the money back into the hands of the venture capitalists after they've massively drawn up the price of something. So though Mo Sheikh, the CEO of Aptos, may be a great guy, they may have a great product, they're fucking this up. They don't recognize how important it is to get as much of that into the community's hands as early as possible, and that's not what they're doing. It's all sitting in the hands of early venture capitalists at a multi-billion-dollar valuation. This isn't going to work. Anyways, just want to give my quick thoughts and updates on Aptos. This will be a short video today. I'm going to do it like this from now on. We'll see you on the next episode.